go. It's showtime. Hey guys, Anime Night here. We are back. It's Wednesday. We are back again with Knightcast, kicking off the heels of the crazy Memorial Day weekend we had. Lots of news somehow slipped past us during the week, but we're here to catch up on it and make sure that we caught everything. Apparently, Joker, you and I talked about this last week. We're gonna dive right into it. Uh, Apparently, the Schumacher uh screening got shish kebabbed
Oh,
by by
WB.
by WB. They got shish kebabbed because last week, for those who missed it, last week they were gonna do the Schumacher cut of Batman Forever in a theater out in Los Angeles, and to all of us who wanted this, we were pretty excited and we hyped up the whole thing during our show. Apparently, somebody at Warner Brothers decided to throw a cease and desist order.
Damn.
Damn,
Hey,
that sucks for
Milkow, Acre Skeleton,
those who
Sunblock.
are excited, but it's still WB's property. They own it. They could have said, "You know what? We won't do anything. We'll let it go." But when you do get that cease and desist, you cannot really fight that. Once that happens, it's like, well, it's best to back off. So that is kind of a bummer for those who were excited. Big anniversary. It's a shame. It's a shame, really. So would have been a good cut. Who knows? Would have bumped it up a little bit higher for some of us, but you can't do anything about that once you get those copyrights.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because it's actually the uncut version of the 1995 Batman uh, of Batman Forever. And you're right, Joker. Who knows how could that have went? It would have probably made it better by miles, yes. But and you're right though, it is a WB property still, and of course WB always taking a lot of steps backwards and not realizing that there was money to be made, at least to save what's left of their brand. But Vaughn, what's your opinion?
I mean, here's the thing. I haven't been following the Schumacher cut. But I mean, I know a lot of people. I'm curious as to what. So the Schumacher cut was what, like fan created, or
Apparently, from our understanding, it was the complete because you know how theaters they release like the theatrical cut of the film in
right?
theaters, and then later on when that movie gets out pushed out to VHS and DVD or what have you, there's the director's cut, and then there's the uncut versions of that said film. Now, we only have, as far as my memory goes, Joker, you can happily back me up
Hmm.
here if you like. We only have the theatrical cut of the film on
I
DVD,
believe so. That's correct at best and at most. But then
and
what's
then
ever left in the editing floors of all the film reels and everything, there could have been more content that was, oh, we got to cut it out for editing reason, time wise. So eventually you could get hypothetically, a director's cut. Sometimes you won't get a cut, but you might get something later down the line, like the infamous Alien 3 that no one liked shooting, including David Fincher. He didn't bother with a director's cut, so they just recut that film entirely, called the assembling cut, and that's kind of what you can find out there, like for DVDs and stuff. The assembly cut is better than the theatrical, but I wouldn't say it's better by a whole lot. It's a little bit more watchable, but I'm like, even when your own director says no one hates that movie more than me, you know there's not going to be a really good cut of that thing out there.
Hmm. Yeah, I never watched Alien 3.
You're kind of lucky, but Fincher, it was good, but he did want to pay homage to Ridley Scott's first film, so that's kind of like why it was a tangled mess. But also they kept building sets that weren't quite completed to different screenplays being thrown around, and it's like eventually they went with one, and then it's like, all right, we got to do it this way. So
Yeah. And Christopher H says that Daredevil even had a great director's cut, and I agree. That was a good
still
cut.
like that movie, but the director's cut was the way to go if you're looking for a slightly more better version of that version of Daredevils than what is in theaters. What I can only know memories from watching the like Fox FX versions when they show stuff on TV. So who knows what Schumacher had left in here with his editors that could have told more of the story for his take on Batman. We'll never know, but it is a bummer that happened. So
yeah, they wanted to do it in like it while this the people, the organizers behind the event, they're like, well, while this was a free members only event meant to celebrate a unique piece of film history, we respect the rights of studios and creators that have chosen to withdraw the event accordingly. Cinefile did not respond to AV Club when they reached out for comment, at least not right away. With or without word from him, it's pretty clear that their screening was unauthorized, which Warner doesn't like too much, at least when it's inconvenient for them. It would have been nice. It would have been nice to see how this cut would have went. Would have it made it better? Who knows? But now with WB still being WB and that clown, whose name escapes me, the CEO of that place. As long as they're still in power, we're never going to get anything quality again until this is. Oh, it was Zabs. Until Zabs is out, we're never going to get anything quality again. But on to the next topic, Joker. It was brought to my attention that you brought this to my attention. So what's going on with Avengers? What's going on?
well, what isn't going on with Marvel these days? Their film, well, they're delaying Doomsday again. So instead of coming out, whether it was supposed to be, it's coming out in December of next year. You know, filming's falling behind. There's multiple cast members that are, there are assigned, but then it's like some sources are saying that of course we're going to see people die, but at the same time it's like your contracts are over, you're done, goodbye. Even though this is the biggest mistake of doing Doomsday, in my opinion, they should kind of be doing what Marvel Rivals is doing, give me crossovers of actual team ups versus like season 2 right now for Rivals. You have Hellfire versus Ultron, which is a cool setup in the background, actually. It's like, oh, and there are comics for that for Marvel Rivals fans out there. It's like, oh, that's cool. That's what we should be doing. We should be doing Avengers versus X-Men, getting different philosophies, ideologies, and finally seeing people kind of freak out the mutants again, but do something like this. Why are we doing my big man, the big guy, Doomsday? But when you're delaying a big project like this, multiple cast members, teams are across the world, you're going to be losing a lot of money. And with how Thunderbolt is performing right now, only crossing 300 million right now, only crossing 300 million, that's not a good sign. Even though it's a lot of characters, that's like, yeah, we like these characters, but it's the Thunderbolts. They did market that film heavily, and it's like, well, we're not doing so well, so you got to make sacrifices, unfortunately. And more projects have always been pushed, which has been the biggest problem with Marvel. They don't know when to stop. and just focus on small scale stuff, then do the larger stuff later. I get it, but I gets a little tiring seeing all the big hero team ups. I want grounded films again, like Phase One was. That we never knew how good we had it until it was too late. That's the sad point.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of like disinterested in the MCU for a bit, to be honest. So I'm kind of like whatever. If I like it, I'm pleasantly surprised. If not, oh well. We'll see. You know, it seems like a lot of member berries. We'll see if it's anything actually great. I'm a huge X-Men fanatic. So you know, but I don't know. I don't know if not sure how exactly it's gonna go. You know.
Like I remember waiting years to see the New Mutants movie, and then when it finally came out after delays, the lockdowns.
Dude, that movie was so delayed. Oh, sorry, you go first.
I know they were. It never got the proper chance, and when I finally saw it, I'm like, "This is it. This is like, I'm like a kid in the candy store. I'm so excited. Here we go." And then my excitement went from was this? I'm like, this can't be right? And I remember everybody in my theater, we kind of looked at each other like, is this really the film we waited like 2 full years for? 2 full years just to see this movie. We're like, that's it?
Damn.
I know, that was sad. And I'm an X-Men fan too. I'm like, I finally get to see Magica after all this time on the big screen. Even though I'm like, wait, that was Magica? I'm like, I guess
Magica? So. You mean magic?
Magic. So like, sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I know they never say their names, but that's fine. But I look at Iron Taylor-Joy after all these years, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was delayed so long, dude, that like, because I didn't know what New Mutants was. By the time it came out, I had gotten into X-Men. It was kind of a perfect time because I had basically caught up through that Demon Bear saga storyline, and so I'm at the theater, and I'm like, that's good. That's not right. Like at that point, I know the material. I'm happy they made a New Mutants movie. I think it was a decent enough concept. I do. I think it's interesting that they made, because if you guys read Demon Bear or any of the New Mutants storylines,
no, I've heard about Demon Bear, but I've heard about, but not read.
Okay, have you read any New Mutants?
I've heard about it. It's just trying to catch up. It's just trying to catch up with it and where to start.
Well, no, I mean the way you start is it's easy. I mean you should read Chris Claremont's whole X-Men run, but then New Mutants, like I've officially read all 100 issues of the original run and all the annuals. So for the entire original New Mutants series, it's pretty good. Start from the beginning. Start from the New Mutants graphic novel, and then go into number 1. It's I would say the first, like Claremont's run is like 54 issues of it. I think he came back for like the occasional issue, but I thought that was really solid. The first 50 issues at least are incredibly solid. After that, it's hit or miss. I know a lot of people really like the like Liefeld stuff. At that point, it's not really feeling as much like New Mutants anymore, though. Like when Cable comes along, like the series, they kind of needed to, which is why it morphs into X-Force by the end. New Mutants, like it folds into New Mutants ends, and then by the end, like New Mutants issue 100, they are X-Force.
Ooh, yeah. I did have the there was these 3 comics I had when I was a little kid back in the late 90s, Vaughn. They had it was X-Force, X-Factor, and X-Men. And each of them had a holographic card on the cover. Like you could like move it around and it moves and everything. I remember those ones. I wish I had them, but when we moved to Vegas in 2000, they got lost during the move, and I was so bummed. I was so bummed because they were very interesting tales because you had Cable fighting Magneto, you had the X-Men going all over the place, and you just had the X-Force just doing so many awesome things in that comic. I was so mad. I was so mad. Hey, I'll pull you down from the solo layout. Give me a moment.
Yeah.
Sorry
the
about
only
that.
the only
it's all
comic
good.
that like I really have was at like many years ago at Universal. I get off the Spider-Man ride and it's like, okay, there's all the stuff you could buy, and I see
Oh, I
some
remember buying
the
some
big
from there.
bundles and everything, and I could have picked any one I wanted, and I still have it with me actually after all these years. Is Ultimate Spider-Man Venom. Like, so when you meet Eddie for the first time ever with the Ultimate Spider-Man, it's all about them learning about their past, their dads, and yes, the iconic black suit. That's the one I picked right away because I'm like, ooh, Venom. I remember being scared of the animation version of Venom, so I'm like, ooh, I want to read this one. Never regretted that purchase.
Real quick, Meltdown. I actually have. I love Donnie Darko. I've never seen the director's cut. Actually,
Oh my god, it's a great movie.
I love that movie, but I've never seen the
cut.
director's cut. That yeah.
Neither have I.
I've seen Donnie Darko. I believe it was the theatrical one I seen, but I heard the director's cut was. But
apparently, like it makes like what happened a little clearer.
Something
That's
like
what I've been
that.
told, at least.
Yes. Speaking of which, apparently, since you mentioned X Factor, Vaughn.
Well, I mentioned X Force, but we'll talk X Factor.
Sorry. We have to honor a legend. We have to honor a legend. We have to honor a legend. We have to honor a legend because this man deserves all the praise.
God.
Oh yeah, I have. I've read a bit of his X Factor. So like where I'm at in the comics, I just read issue 65 yesterday, so it's right before he gets on. Like he wrote a few issues, but I'm about to get to the point where he takes over, and I'll probably, especially now he's passed, I'll probably have to read his run. I know everyone loved it. His Hulk run, people say, is legendary. He did some great Wolverine stuff too, man. And it sucks. I'm actually going to be, if you guys want to subscribe to my YouTube channel, it's just my name, Vaughn Coleman. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be hosting a discussion on Hulk the End in honor of Peter David, because that story is a masterpiece. That if there's one story of his you should read, it is Hulk the End.
Nice.
Nice. I mean, when you are a legend and you write some of the best stuff, working with the best people will remember you. Even like for me, have I read many comics? Not a whole lot, but when you see that elements from them in different adaptations, it just feels so right, actually, that like I could be reading this stuff. Like I always wanted like to own a lot more comics. I own a lot of good indie stuff nowadays, but this is like, wow, this is so cool. And like, didn't Todd work with him at one point? Yeah, I think so. Todd did work with him. Because I see one of the posters with like, oh yeah, that's Todd's inking. So like, I recognize that right away. I'm like, excellent.
Yeah, I mean that iconic Wolverine cover or Hulk cover where it's Wolverine with the claws and Hulk's reflection. That was Todd. Todd did a lot of the Hulk run with Peter David.
Yeah, even Rob sent out his condolence, and like you said, he had the biggest run. I'm like, yes, of course. So.
Yeah, I mean, his daughter actually commented on my I made a short and I posted on TikTok, and yeah.
Here's the X-Men one. Deadly Genesis. It's so unbelievably sad. These artists they give so much.
Well, he didn't do this.
Oh no! Oh, sorry, wrong one.
He didn't do that.
Wrong one.
Giants has X-Men #1. Absolutely not. That is one of the best comics ever. But yeah, Peter David didn't do that. Why is Giants has X-Men #1 brought up though? I'm curious because that is.
Or did he?
Oh,
Or are they just trying to put
I'm just looking through the article
Yeah,
right
I know. I'm
now.
trying to see what it says about Giant Size X-Men.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Going back to it. Yeah, apparently apparently it says Deadly Genesis. The newest X-Men team makes their debut on Gil Kane, David Crockham, and Denny Crespi's cover to Giant Size.
Yeah, no, we know that. I'm asking how Peter David is linked to that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I made the wrong comparison. That was my fault. It's a wonder to. It boggles me that
Wait,
they
hang
put.
on. I'm just trying to. If we could just see where it's connected. Let's just find. It's probably in the article.
Oh,
probably is an
Scroll up.
article.
Uh,
okay.
okay, so this one okay, so this same run that
Okay.
inspired him inspired me. Like that's this Giant Size X-Men #1, and then followed by X-Men 95. That's that Claremont run, that new second Genesis era, is what A made the X-Men what they are today, and B is what made me that run is what made me, because I was at film school, made me want to start writing my own comics.
Wow.
Wow. That's impressive.
That's a story.
Yeah, sorry for confusing you, Vaughn. I am so sorry.
No, you were confused. I was trying to clear up the confusion. You didn't. I just wanted.
Sometimes we do scroll a bit too fast, like so. But that's okay. Good thing we got that clear.
And also, Christian Freight says Peter David also wrote the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction video game. I remember that. Oh, that one was fun to play. Let's see. Through his early years with the publisher, saw him unsuccessfully attempt to sell a variety of comic book ideas to the publishers. During his, he would ultimately find success when in 1985, then newly appointed Spider-Man line editor Jim Owsley brought one of his wall crawler related stories, which then he published in Peter Parker, The Spectacular Spider-Man Volume 1, issue number 103.
So no, I'm Jim Owsley is Christopher Priest, but he he changed his name.
Really?
Yeah, that's Christopher Priest.
What caused the name change? Do you know?
I don't remember, but I think he got into part of the reason there was a whole Hobgoblin controversy with them changing the identity was because Jim Owsley was the editor. Although I will say Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, even though it resulted in a whole controversy, was a great story. But Jim Owsley, I guess he just ruffled a lot of feathers as an editor, and I don't know if that's why, if he wanted a new start as Christopher Priest, or I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Or why he changed his name, but he did change his name.
Oh, here's the Thunderbolts. We were just talking about that a little bit ago. But yeah, the guy had a very great story career. And he was also, I firmly believe he also did Spider-Man 2099. Whew. It hurts seeing the legends of the comic book industry.
I mean, he was still pretty young too, 68. Like, thought he would be a little bit older, but 68 still. It's like, it's getting up there. But man, would love to meet him. Just say thank you for your wonderful contribution to this industry that made a lot of us love certain characters, who love these storylines that people love to read over and over again.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, no, again, our condolences to the family of David. His work is going to live on forever, and it should be cherished.
And that's the old saying: legends never truly die; their legacies live on forever. Like, that's why I'm grateful for physical media. That's why you buy this stuff, so it's always there instead of one day it vanishes and you can't find it, or we have to go find it out there. There's a small chance of preserving it.
Hey, Big Angerfield, what's up, buddy? David, legendary comic book creator, David, he passed
No,
away.
Peter David.
Oh, Peter David. Sorry, I'm confusing the names already.
All right, real quick, I just want to say if I get eulogized, don't do that.
I won't. I won't do that, man. Alrighty. On to the next topic. So, Joker, get this. Get this, Joker. Mark Ruffalo, rumored to appear in Ruffalo. Thank you.
So here we go again.
Damn it! Here we go again. I'm gonna butcher the eulogy one of these days.
Well, it's some rumors, so who knows?
Rumored to appear in Spider-Man 4 as Savage Hulk. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, we covered rumored topics of rumored stuff that some of it turned out to be true, others just fell completely through the floor and everything.
Yes, Kristen, I prefer Edward Norton over Mark, because Edward Norton was the Bruce Banner, the Hulk. He nailed it. Like, it's a damn shame he didn't continue. I know there was problems with Incredible Hulk. Even the second pen name is himself crediting as his own damn writer for the Incredible Hulk. But
yeah, so again, when we talk about Hulk, I mean, Peter David many say he's the greatest Hulk writer ever. I mean, he wrote for how many? I want to say 12 straight years on the title. I mean, so much of the most iconic stuff came from Peter David, and even like we're covering Hulk the End on my channel, which is kind of like a send off to the character, and like that, it's just. His stuff is so spectacular, and it really is a shame to know that they just won't pull from any of it. You know, we're not going to get a Hulk story. I know, and the thing too is Professor Hulk, which even though apparently people who are fans of the character don't like the way they did him, was created by Peter David, and yet he died barely able to afford anything. Even though one of the highest grossing movies of all time featured a character that was created by him. Didn't see much of anything from it.
Wow.
I think that's one of the reasons why Rob is really.
Oh yeah, Marvel is worse than DC when it comes to loyalties by far.
Exactly.
Paul Levitt's played a big role in making sure that like you do get some level of royalties with stuff. Now, that being said, Chuck Dixon and Graham Nolan were not even credited in The Dark Knight Rises. They've since been getting better about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's like at least put the names in the credits. You know, I can't afford to pay royalties at this moment in time because I can barely afford my stuff. But I'm always treating my creators well. I'm as best as I can. And I think that's important, right? So much goes into creating these characters, and yeah.
People who created Batman, they created one of the most iconic characters of all time, ended up broke in the end because
who that was?
Oh,
you guys are all right. Listen, you guys got to read some comics, man. But it's Bob Kane.
Bob Kane.
I'm just gonna look up what characters Peter David, because I know he also, like, the Hook Hand Aquaman, that was Peter David. Peter David did so much. All right, let's see. Who did he create? All right, Spider-Man 2099, of course. Hope Summers. I didn't know Hope Summers was him. Maestro. I'm looking at seeing if there's any character, because I have read a fair amount of his work, but I haven't read like any entire runs. Although I've read most of his Wolverine. Because he would do a fair amount of issues, like Wolverine issue 9, great issue. God, he's done. I mean, he did so much, man. It's so tragic. And I wish I could have told him, even just the fraction of his work, how much it meant. But yeah, that iconic hook-handed Aquaman, that was Peter David. Young Justice, that was Peter David. Professor Hulk, that was Peter David. He brought so much to these characters. He did a ton of X Factor. But yeah.
It's really sad when you see a character that you recognize be on the screen. It's like, I know who created that character. I know who created that character, but you don't see the name anywhere, and it's like, what the hell? But luckily they're getting better at it, which is very, very wonderful. And let's hope it continues.
And the thing is, I do know this channel on YouTube that actually goes through like the history of comics, actually, from Bob Kane and Will creating Batman, but then you tell them that they grew up poor. Well, they had everything, but got nothing at the end of a whole lot at the end, or like learning about like how TMNT by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, how that was created, just two people, laughing, making each other laugh, trying to create comic books. One draws the first turtle, the other one's like comes up with the name, the other one fires back, draws another one, and gets the full name. It's like, let's do it. Do you think they created their first issues of comics, but they're also thinking that it's not going to sell as well, even with the loan from their uncle. We're just going to have comics here laying for a while, but it sells well. It's like, wait, it's sold out? Go reprint some more issues. Sells out again. Pays back the uncle and it's like, we're making money. Let's make more. Something small like that is so massive and so huge at that time. It's like, this is called like win. But even then, those guys had their own fallout too. Yes, the relationship was great until it wasn't. And that's the sad thing. But thankfully, in the end, they were able to make up in the end. It just took a long time and everything. Different writers, different creators. But eventually, Team and Team survived through the years. We had multiple different Turtle Manias. Every generation got to have the Turtles. In fact, actually, hold on right up here. This isn't me, but actually my cousin is actually a big TMNT fan, actually. So this is him years ago that he's like, oh, yeah, he had Donatello. I had Michelangelo back in the day. So this is him when he sent me a photo of him in this little setup. So I really like that. So still have it with me. But
I got a let's see, I'm just double checking that this is it before I think I just got some new cover art, so that's why I was looking off screen. I apologize, but I'm always on the grind, man. I think I got, but I think someone just sent me some stuff.
Hey, we appreciate people who are always on the roll and everything. So it's no issue.
No. Or like again, like the Crow. Like if you know how the Crow was made, it just makes that storyline more sad, depressing. Like there's an entire video about the Crow. It's like when I watched that video, it made me really think about like you never know the behind the scenes of creating.
I mean, that one's a really well-known one, though.
It is a well-known one, but for me, like I didn't know the full story, but it was like, damn, fuck, man, fuck. So now I want to find an issue so I can read it and be like, damn.
Yeah.
I have to read the Crow comic. Oh, are you talking about the comics or the movie?
The comic, both the comic and the movie. The movie was one thing that I always knew about, but the comic itself.
Yeah, I need to read the comic.
It's another level to that.
Yeah, I need. Well, I'm on the same boat as Ron. I need to check out the comic as well and see what else was there aside from it. Because I've seen the movies and everything. I've seen the movie, but now the comic has my interest, and now it's like trying to find it. So Joker. Apparently, we have another video game superhero. We have another video game titled superhero game canceled.
And it's
Again,
Black Panther. What a big shocker by EA picking up new studios, new talent ish. Okay, they got the license to make a Black Panther game. Let's see what they do. Oh, wait, sorry. It's canceled. Well, when your lead director or founder says no white male devs, we need to stop that. If you make me a good product, I will play it. If you write a good story with Black Panther, go for it. And I think Black Panther does have a lot of potential for a great third-person action game. Like there are so many characters outside of Marvel for Marvel and DC that they could be making some good games for. They're just refusing to do it or to find the right talent. I am more faithful in the Skydance adaptation with Captain America, a version of Black Panther set in World War II, because it's by Amy Hennig, the the good Uncharted director and a really talented director that I'm like, yeah, I trust her. I trust her. She's great. She's got a good track record. But then Black Panther by EA, I'm like, it's EA. They would have found a ways to monetize the living hell out of this game. But now it's gone. Not given a chance, so it's the old saying, and nothing of value was lost.
exactly, and this is just like a continuation of EA
And the
being
studio
stupid.
closed, so they just gobbled up the studio, and then like, nope, you're done. Goodbye.
This is why mergers should be looked at more closely whenever stuff like this happens. It's like, what deal did you really have there, EA? I want to know what was in that paperwork that you so heartily were eager to sign. It breaks my heart because we could have had Joker, we could have had the Wonder Woman game. We could have had a Black Panther game. That would have been great. Like a standalone Black Panther game, a standalone Wonder Woman game. And now it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, with the Wonder Woman game was being developed by Monolith. The guys who did the Fear games, at least the first good one, and of course recently the Shadow of War games for Middle Earth. And to me, this is them working on Wonder Woman. There should have been no reason whatsoever we could have not gotten that game sooner. I mean, it's just Wonder Woman meets Shadow of War. Like, this is a home run, slam dunk, go for it. And yet, what do we find out? Multiple years in development, over $100 million spent on it. I don't know what they were retooling the Nemesis system into something with the friendship system that you could somehow this is a Nemesis system. I just want to kill the enemies. That's all you need to do. Keep on improving it. Don't turn this into you can gain new allies. Sure, give me the allies, but I want to fight Cheetah, Gigantica, Cersei.
Giganta. It's Giganta. You keep adding Ika, like Magica.
I don't know why I do that. Giganta. I don't know why I do that. It's a habit of mine. For some strange reason. I just give me her rogues gallery. And if Ares says at the end, I'm like, oh, sick, sweet.
For Wonder Woman, yeah, she needs to have her rogues fleshed out more. Honestly, that's one of her biggest things is her villains. They keep rebooting her constantly, so she never has a clear identity. I would love to write Wonder Woman as a character and make her into like a mainstay. I would love to. That would be one of my dream characters to write.
Let's see. Apparently, Christian Freight says Rocksteady almost made a standalone Superman game.
And look what we got. Kill the Justice League. Oh.
No, thank you.
And don't forget, guys, I suffered for you. Yes, I bought Kill the Justice League because I thought there's no way they're gonna kill off the league. You guys are all just no. They killed them off, but we killed the clones at the end. I did not pay for any of the DLC because I said, nope, I suffer enough through this title alone. You're not getting my money anymore.
um, I
And
felt bad for you, Joker, when you were telling me all that. I felt so bad for you. I'm like, that plate of shit does not taste good.
an M-rated Lobo standalone game. Well, to be
Ooh.
fair, that would be a great game. And through the grapevines, I think DC they've been trying to do a Lobo movie for many years now. I think they have been always been concerned about the budget wise. They said the potential director they had in mind was Michael Bay, and I'm like, you know what, Michael Bay for a Lobo movie? Yeah, I could see it. I could definitely see it. But now we're getting Lobo in Wonder Woman, Woman of Tomorrow, playing by Jason Momoa. That has always been his favorite character, so excellent. So that should at least be good. We just need to hope to God that this new movie that's coming out in a month and a half is good.
Hmm. Oh, speaking of which, Joker, get this. Christian Freight's now saying, speaking of scrap games, did you know that there would have been an infamous and prototype crossover, but was scrapped in favor of Concord?
Do I believe that? Hmm. Well, if you went for the early days for Infamous and Prototype, that possibility is still there. But in favor of Concord, I highly doubt that. So
Yeah,
they
I
probably
mean,
just been like, no, it's too much to do one thing or the other, or like try to get a prototype and Infamous crossover going. They could have been like, Activision's too greedy or Sony was too greedy. Who knows? Who knows? So would have been cool though.
agreed. It would have been cool. I mean, the M-rated Lobo game, it wouldn't. I would be for it because I mean, we already had the Punisher game for the PS2, and that was I streamed that a while back, and that was a lot of fun. I had fun on that one. The Spawn one I played, that was a load of fun. Um, Minus the park level, but still I managed to beat that whole game. Speaking of which, Joker, uh apparently Death Stranding is getting an anime adaptation. You brought this to my attention. So
Well,
what's
it
this?
is Kojima. He's always working. That man is always working. Death Stranding was always going to be a big franchise for Sony when they first announced it with Kojima. I know there's an A24 adaptation pitch for Death Stranding that's going around right now, still in early development. So getting the anime adaptation is still the next logical step. They have money to throw around, so go for it. And I would like to see where they would take place because I know the first game you're in the middle of the story because you had like five big massive extinctions before then, and Troy Baker's like, we're up to number 6 right now, so this could possibly explore what happened in the past, how do they discover these things. It could also be a bridge title to connect game one and get game number 2. But this will be interesting for a fan who does like Kojima's work, but I was still iffy about Death Stranding. Have yet to beat the game, but I'm still iffy
Hey,
about it because I'm like,
so
I could see
George.
it work, but it's one of those games that you just gotta stick with it. If it's not for you, you don't have to play it anymore. Try it out and then just go from there.
Vaughn, have you ever played Death Stranding?
No, I have not played it yet. I need to play Kojima games in general. I don't know if this is the one I want to play. Like I've seen some gameplay. I don't know if it looks like it's for me. Um, I definitely want to play the Metal Gear games, like 100%.
Oh, you gotta play the MG.
I know. I heard that Expedition 33, also that new game, is really good, but I have not played that yet.
I know. I'm trying to find a copy of mine right now, so I don't have to buy digital because I don't want to lose it forever. I know a lot of the thing. Just a few ex Ubisoft deads and finding like that story is already going around like YouTube and everything on how it was made. I'm like, these are people living the dream right now that we all want to achieve. Even you are living the dream, my friend, creating your own comic books. Congratulations!
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's a big win for you, Vaughn. That's a big win. You kicked the door off its hinges and hit the ground running.
No, I think I've even seen a couple of these going around Kickstarter. I'm like, wait, I've seen this before, and I'm like, oh, well, this is the
doing my job. That's good. Yeah.
So I'm like, it is there because I do like support indie. I have supported Mandy for both of the Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter issues. I got both volumes 1 and 2. I even got a few more merchandise with her for the t-shirts. I backed up Gem Shop as well. I think that's still being worked on, so that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. I got like Reaper Destroyer by Joe, wonderful guy. Wonderful.
Oh yeah, Joe's great. I got Reaper Destroyer. I haven't read it yet, but I have.
I know. No, I think it was like one of the first few actually, just to be bam right there, because when you follow a lot of creators, you are bound to find something in your timeline that someone else is retweeting or go check this out, and he was in one of them. I'm like, I'm backing this up completely. So. So I love to support creators, even if I can't support you guys financially. I will retweet it. I'll be like, hey, go back it up. Even a little bit like that gets the word out.
I have digital copies too, and if anyone has a membership or gets a membership to Global Comics, it's like a monthly subscription. There's thousands of comics on that site. You could read Phenomenova on globalcomics.com, or you could buy digital copies from Global Comics, just $5 an issue. If you guys don't want to do physical, if you want to do physical, it's on my website. But either way, any level of support, I do appreciate. I wasn't sure if we were like, should I share my screen or something? Or
go for it, man. Go ahead.
We're here to support indie creators. We love.
All right.
And plus, you are new to the whole thing, so please. We got to see Phoenix Press's
experience.
Yeah, so Phenomenova is a childhood dream of mine come true, but I was a filmmaker and a film school, and I decided I really wanted to twist the comics. That Chris Claremont's X-Men run really inspired me. And I saw an indie scene. I saw like a lot of IPs getting changed and a lot of stuff we talked about.
Sup, Brexus.
And I decided I wanted to do something on my own. And so that is where I went to film my own company. You could sign up for my email list on here and get notified on all my projects that I've got going on. I've also got some things in the works. I've got a short story collection, like I'm writing some horror stuff, but you can buy issues 1 and 2 off my website. And you could also, if you go to the digital comics section and click on the digital store, hold on, it opens another tab where you guys can get to check out some of my work, including you can read the first 10 pages of Phenomenova issue 1 for free on here. Follow me if you can. You can also read my first published work, which is a 10-page short story here called Land of the Lawless. That is completely free. Follow me on Global Comics. Subscribe to my email list. I also have a YouTube channel. I make content regularly. I'm on all socials, but yeah, I've been writing like crazy. I've got a ton of stuff in the works. I was just writing a lot today, revising issue 5 and 6 scripts. And I have some other ideas I was brainstorming. So I'm always putting some more work out. And I've got issue 3 in the works. The crowdfunding campaign should be launching this summer. So tons of great things that I've got going on.
Nice.
I love this.
We always love watching like creators like you go out there onto the scene and get your stuff out there promoting. Last week we had a guy by the name of Phoenix Press who has his own comic, Screecher. Wonderful dude. But yeah, man, we love promoting. We always talk about indie creators and everything. We like get the stuff out there, get the word out. Like, hey, check out this. We've seen a lot of indie games. We've seen a lot of indie comics. We do the best we can to make sure word travels and gets
And
out there and everything.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Who is your inspiration as a writer? You know what's funny? I've been reading, not unrelated, but just a quick tangent, not
No, go
related
ahead.
for my comic, but I have been reading H.P. Lovecraft's work like crazy lately because my friend who's an artist hired me to write for him, and he was like, "I want you to pull from Lovecraft." And I'd only read Call of Cthulhu, and I read this story, and then the next, and I got addicted, and then I bought a hardcover, and I was just reading a lot of audiobooks, a lot of physical. And that drove me crazy. But in terms of, I mean, I've really liked Kirkman lately. But my favorite, I would say, is Chris Claremont. Then I'd put Frank Miller, Jeff Johns, Jeff Loeb. My first comic was Batman Hush. Chuck Dixon, who my first published work in comics, I was editor on Hunter Ninja Bear by Chuck Dixon. So that was really an honor. I would put Frank Miller. I don't know if I said Frank Miller, but of course you got to put Frank Miller. Marv Wolfman, who, like, of course, New Teen Titans, all that. Yeah, tons of great stuff. Those are some of my favorites, though, in terms of writers.
Nice. Well, and you understood the assignment. It's like, here you go. Just read this and boom, off to the races. And then it got you into a different set of books from the same author, and that's actually pretty cool how one thing leads to another, and it's like, okay, I'm liking this story. I want to get this out there.
Yeah, for sure.
Milk Cow has a question.
Does it? No, but you should join my email list because, well, I might put some Cosmic Horror element. You never know. Some might sneak its way in. But in addition to writing Phenomenova issue 3, be on the lookout because I also wrote something for my buddy Zach, who's doing a cover for issue 3. But Zach is working on his own book that is like, imagine like Indiana Jones in space mixed with some cosmic horror elements. Like he's trying to find artifacts, and he wanted me to read some Lovecraft to get into it. And I more than went beyond the assignment. So we have a book that we're working on together. So stay on my email list, follow me on socials, because I can't announce that, or I can talk about it, but I don't want to give the full details of that yet. But I am doing something.
We'll just pretend you're on an NDA. We'll just pretend.
Well, I don't even know if it's that. I just don't know what I can say, but know that there's something in the works. So keep your eyes peeled. Because
there you go. That should be good. That should be good enough to.
Yeah. So I'm writing some horror, some comics.
Just to quote Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm gonna say you had my attention.
Yeah. All right. That's good.
You had my attention.
Awesome.
I mean, I love to support indie creators. Like even for me in my state, we are very much, for a lot of our filmmakers here, they're really trying to get the bills passed to like give tax incentives. We want to start making films here. The guy, I even met like an indie director like not too long ago. Actually, he had a one night showing in my hometown. I'm like, I gotta see this movie, and shot very well, very beautiful, written very well. And I'm like, you know, this is not my cup of tea for most films, but it was a good change of pace for a 48-minute a film. Like, this is really good. And he has talked about stuff like, you know, if you want to get stuff to be filmed here, it's going to, you know, all the different states, you know, because, you know, who's going to fund the film, and you can't get funding. Where are you going to go? Exactly. So they're trying to get that passed to here. He's mentioned before, like, you know, this is like the film is inspired, like these films in general, they're kind of inspired by like the filmmaking style of, hopefully I'm saying this correctly because I'm looking at the page right now. Mike Lee, like, you know, some films are like Secrets and Lies, Val Drake, Naked, like Life and Sweet. So those are some films that this director that guy has made, but not the current guy. But I'm like, okay, so these are different films I don't know about, but I'm like, now I'm curious to watch them. If this film was good, what are these films like? And And that's the thing, people. There are different filmmaking styles out there. I think he said, yes, we are guilty of watching your Spielbergs, your Scorseses, all the good ones out there. But then you look at all the other guys that may not be quite as well known. You go, wait, they can look and sound like this? Mm-hmm. It just is a matter of like what attracts to you. Like I'm always curious to give things a try. Like, let me try this. If I like it, I'll want to find more. And I'm glad I did. And to know this guy's like want to get films made here again, I'm like, let's go for it.
Yeah, I miss. I'd love to do something even Lovecraft film related. I was thinking, but it's the thing is, it's all public domain. So because I'm going to be posting some short stories online. My email list will have everything: my socials, YouTube. Like I try and promote my stuff constantly because you have to. But I'm going to be like doing some horror stories that hopefully I'll put for free. Some of them for free online, and then the rest you have to buy. Short story collection. There's so much I have going on in the works. But yeah, no, I mean, I haven't been watching as many movies lately, but I used to be like a huge cinema guy. Lately I've been more into comics and stuff. But yeah,
there you go. I got your channel out there
you.
and everything. I'm being careful of like what not to post and everything. I'm being very careful here.
In terms of,
well, oh wait, I see the links. Because some people they post like the links and everything, and it's like, do we have the permission to post them in the chat and everything?
Why wouldn't they want you to promote the stuff in the chat?
I don't know. Some creators, they're finicky about certain things, like all that's like, why?
Yeah,
why?
no, my goal here is like I like talking. I've liked talking to you fine gentlemen, but I'm also here because I want to promote stuff. So I encourage that, if anything.
Okay, good.
Share my website, share my Kickstarter. Yeah, my Kickstarter, my website, my global comics, whatever, questions you guys got. I'm on, I'm also on Twitter. You can just find my name, Vaughn Coleman. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. There we go. All his links are out, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, hold on one second. Just want to make sure we got everything. Okay, good. The internet's still up and everything. Thank God.
Normally his Wi-Fi is a little iffy, so if we lose it's like we're gonna be waiting for
but luckily, that's why I have Joker here to keep the conversation going in case if I do suddenly kaput. It's like
I've done it more than once. I've done it more than once.
But he kept the conversations to a good topic, and I'm like, thank you. So Joker, apparently, oh boy, how do you go from so many promotions to everything? The Last of Us Season 2 finale ratings reveal major drop as HBO spins 55% audience decline. How?
You could have thought adapting a game.
Hi, Eagle Rider. Welcome back.
Well, who would have thought adapting one of the most divisive titles would see a response like this? And they're saying
the difference is
saying season 2 from the premiere, from the start of.
I think another thing too is that I didn't necessarily like. I played Last of Us 2 hoping I'd like it, even hearing all the naysaying, deciding I want to try and come to my own conclusions. Now that I know how I feel about it, because you have to understand, a lot of us went in going, well, we want to be optimistic, we want to give the game a shot for ourselves.
Same here as well.
A lot of us that hated the game, that whole segment, we're like, well, we're not gonna sit through that again. So we're like, I already know how I feel about the Last of Us seasons. I actually haven't seen season 1 yet, but I already know how I felt about the game. It sounds like they were loyal to the game, which I'm generally in favor of sticking to source material, but I'm like, I don't have an interest.
Yeah, but to be fair, in this situation, being loyal to the game is actually an insult to the people who hated the game to begin with.
But they're not.
That's the whole thing, that they spent so much time doing illegal false flags and shutdowns and attacking any channel that did commentary on them and striking people for copyrights that weren't valid and shit like that during the release of the game. Do they really think anybody's going to accept them doing a show and act like they never did anything wrong?
Correct.
I know so many people who had channels taken down literally for just saying they didn't like the game.
That is crazy.
In fact, one of the people who got multiple false flags on him that I have known for a long time was Lethal Lightning, who I knew in the geeks community when I started. He got struck by Naughty Dog twice for even saying the game's name without being positive.
Yeah, they were. Neil Druckmann was really on one.
I mean, Neil Druckmann, but that's not what everybody was calling him during that. I mean,
Yeah,
the Uckman was correct, but
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't know if I've met you anywhere before, so hello.
And
Eagle Rider.
unfortunately, I called it. Like I said, I called it. I said they were gonna do the big, shocking moment within the first 2 episodes, and I called it. It was in episode 2, and then the views started to plummet.
Why
Big
do people
time.
keep acting like it's a surprise?
It's not a surprise.
And we all keep doing this. We all keep getting our hopes up, going, please, well, maybe they won't butcher this IP.
Nope.
When are we going to get it through our heads? Every IP is to be butchered by these assholes and these big computers.
Why? That's why I started my own. No one's gonna butcher Phenomenova except for me, and I don't plan on butchering it. So yeah.
Until the big royalty paycheck comes along.
Everybody. We've all gotten our hopes up on occasion for something that it didn't look like it was going to be bad. And then we go, oh, shit.
I've learned my lesson the hard way with Castlevania Nocturne, because I kept thinking, it's going to be fine, it's going to be fine. And then I had to admit defeat to somebody, going the full Kyle, you from South Park, you were right all along. You were right all along. Right towards him. I finished the last episode. I was like, you were right all along. I should have listened, but no, I had hopes. Nope.
Well, that one's complicated with just some guy because he also went after people trying to silence them too. That's why he lost his popularity. So I still don't condone the people who tried to false flag him and go after him. And Naughty Dog is one of the ones who did. But he became what he fought against. So that sucks when that happens because we want to support people. We want to help promote people. We want to encourage people to be supportive of other people.
Yeah.
Exactly, and that's what we're all about. We want to see those that we promote and everything get this, earn their success and keep on going and grow and grow and grow and get all the stuff and reach the goals and everything. But here though, it can't figure it out. Why are we losing our audience?
They pay to see Joel, but no, they're not paying
Why
to
are
see
you
Bella.
losing your audience? Because you're literally spitting on them.
Well, this time they didn't spit, which is what I'm told. I'm like, okay, you did change one thing, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
And it's a story that's predictable. We get it. Revenge is bad. Killing's bad. Break the cycle of violence.
It just wasn't a very well done one either.
That's more complicated than that. See, that's the thing I hate with revenge stories is they always take it on as either like the person going for vengeance is some unsung hero or the person going for vengeance is some absolute monster. And they very rarely deal with the complexity of it. The fact that there are situations where everything fails you. There are situations, but it's still a complex negative thing. And it's not at all or none with the whole revenge culture. That's one thing is if you're going to deal with really complex human conditions, you need to make them really complex stories. And one thing I will give traditional Batman, not a lot of modern crap for, is they did show him both as heroic, but also troubled and stuff. He was a vigilante, not a hero. And that's,
he was no. Hold on. That is complete. Was absolutely a hero.
Let me explain. Because he wasn't pure noble. He had a side that was because he wanted vengeance for what happened. That's where he falls into vigilante or chaotic good. He wasn't pure. And that's what I'm getting at. Because I am one who will sit there and dissect which one falls into psychology. That doesn't mean they're not good. Doesn't mean they're not evil, good guy, bad guy. It's just those minute classifications to understand psychology behind.
I mean, I think Batman was 100% a superhero.
Again, I think it's the problem when people with this is the same way as when I say things are overrated. I'm not saying it's not really good. I'm not saying it's not that. I'm looking at the minutes of psychology behind it. I'm very analytical and really nerdy on that stuff. So I'm not saying he didn't do noble things and do heroic things. I'm saying he still fell into chaotic on the vigilante because there were those troubled parts.
Like which parts?
He was not a golden boy who did things without making dark moves. Superman was the one that was painted as pure hero golden boy for so long. Batman was always portrayed as more as he had trouble in his personal life. He had psychology issues. He made mistakes in some of the actions he did.
Well, right, but like, what are, because you keep saying like he has
I'm trying to actually pull out the ones here. You got to give me a little space. I have memory issues, so it takes me time to pull everything out when I'm trying to discuss it. And it's been a while since I've read them.
I think I remember the line from Hugo Strange from Arkham City that it's always in the trailers or when you find the tape recording. He's like, have you ever considered that all of this is your fault? Your presence creates these animals.
Well, right, but Hugo Strange is a villain who's totally
exactly.
Well, and again, that's what I'm trying to phrase this the right way to understand. He started because he wanted vengeance for what happened to his parents. That's been consistent in every story. You look at a lot of the old comics, there were mistakes that led to people getting killed, even if it was by accident. There was other things. He wasn't perfect in his golden boy view compared to Superman. That's what I'm getting at. I am a big Batman fan, and I do think he did great and noble things. I just think he was more complex, more humanized, less pure super. So that's where I was explaining that I am hyper analytical with things, and I always look at people as to how they fit into psychology. And he also knows I do have a tendency when I try to pull things out that as soon as I try to tell people what I was thinking about, it like memory.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. I think Batman is a pure. I personally think a lot of modern depictions are trying to make him this like super.
Oh, I'm not looking at modern.
Well, even I mean, in general, I'm just saying like even like Batman versus Superman, where he's like killing all the time, and it's like that's just not the character.
No, that wasn't the character either. It's like he wasn't a golden boy. He wasn't a villain. He was trying to do good, and he had more human struggles than some of them were portrayed back then. He was made more fleshed out, less perfect.
Yeah,
but he was trying to do good. And that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah,
he wasn't this pure like bigger than life hero that was somehow portrayed as like flawless. He was given all the depths of emotion and humanity. That doesn't mean he was negative or evil, and I don't like how they've been trying to portray him in the modern stuff at all. It's like we can acknowledge people's complexity without dehumanizing that complexity. And that's where I think a lot of the modern stuff fails, is what I've noticed with a lot of these modern writers is if they try to go into those complexities, it instantly turns into turning somebody noble into somebody evil, or goes into this weird line where it's like every villain has to have some massively good reason why they became a villain, and they're just misunderstood, and they're noble in their heart.
I hate when we do that.
And look, I understand there are people who do evil things in life who were led through emotion and thought they were doing the right thing. And it's okay to have that on occasion, especially for underlings who are conflicted and confused. But when you're painting every villain as a misunderstood hero,
right?
Yuck, you know?
Yeah, no. That's really annoying. And I like I said, a lot of the stuff you're talking about, I kind of rebel against with my book Phenomenova. I'm very much I don't want to say anything without giving things away, but it's not like I have flawed heroes and stuff, but they're chasing the ideal. It's not going to be like, well, superheroes are all bad and villains are all good or whatever the hell they're trying to do now. It's not like
It's
that.
like I got so sick of the comic industry for the mainstream, partly because they started taking all of these beloved heroes that had been around for decades. Some who were golden boys, who were painted as almost flawless, beautiful examples of what was supposed to be the least complex and the most pure hearts in the world. People like Superman, people like that. And they started trying to show them as, well, they're also partly villainous. Oh, they were also inspired by this. It's like, no, they weren't. They were golden boys. You had golden boys. You had complicated heroes. You had vigilantes who were chaotic good, who were driven by wanting to make things better, but made a lot of mistakes in their early time because it started in vigilante. You had neutrals. You had chaotic evil. You had evil. You had the complex scales have always been there, but they used to be more plainly defined by each of them and more clearly written. And now they're like trying to slide them from one to the other constantly. And you lose the character's arc when you keep changing them constantly.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's one of the big problems. They're constant, like there's no character consistency. And again, that's one of the reasons I'm independent and doing my own thing. Speaking of, I do, because it is getting later here, I do have some like little bit of writing I want to do before I go to bed. But so I want to thank you guys for having me. It was great talking to all you. Eagle, it's nice meeting you at the end. Thank you so much. I don't mean to cut out, but yeah.
You're good.
No. That's fine. Like I said, I do ramble on this stuff, but I am
no, it's not
very
you.
much a girl. There's a reason why I end up being here.
No, I appreciate it.
Vaughn.
But I also just miss my guys because I've been streaming with him and co-hosting with him for years, and I've been kind of gone dealing with family stuff the last couple of months. So which is why I'm still here. This is my mom's house.
Vaughn, real quick. You've been fantastic tonight. Thank you for your input and insight. I would love to have you. We would love to have you back on at some point whenever your schedule clears and everything. We'll talk. We'll talk. Don't worry.
Yeah, we'll be in discussion. I'm gonna block you after that. No, I'm kidding.
I would say to leave it open that if you have time on Sundays and want to stop by when we're just hanging out and doing the nights, you can always stop by then too. Just
message me.
Because we've never been opposed to letting people stop in during our group stream on Sundays and promote a bit if they want to or hang out a bit.
All right, sounds good. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you so much. It was great talking to you guys, and
we'll try and keep up. We'll try and get more
keep up with me on all socials. And no, all the topics were good tonight. All the topics were good.
Alrighty,
it was all up my alley. All right, see you guys. I don't just do comedy. I do like video. I just haven't had the time. I haven't been making the time to play video games lately. But I do.
There are very few nerds that have one single faucet.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I'm sitting here with the anime nights. I'm a comic nerd from hell. I'm also a nature photographer and a mountain.
Yeah, no one has one thing, and then the algorithm is like, you should just be a this channel. And it's like, that's not how humans work. Like, all right, yeah, I was reading H.P. Lovecraft yesterday, and then I went and read some Invincible and X-Men. But it's supposed to be, apparently you're only supposed to like one thing at a time. It's like, no, it's not how
medieval,
it works.
Fantasy, fiction,
Again,
sci-fi,
Rebel Oasis. I'm going to be
history,
writing not just
folklore.
superhero stuff, all kinds of stuff. So join my email list. See you guys and have a great one. Peace out.
Thanks.
Have a good night. I prefer complex nerds with a lot of interests.
Speaking
I'm
of
like reading 3 different books from mangas right now, so I'm like.
Which, how much did you miss me, anime?
We missed you, Eagle Rider. Yeah, we missed you. We've been
Monday's my anniversary.
I know.
19 years we've been married.
Woo! Yeah.
Congratulations.
God, I'm getting old.
He was cool. So Joker, apparently, what in the world is going on with Persona? What's going on here, buddy?
I think this is, with how successful, obviously, Persona 3 Remake was, despite the cast switch, which is completely fine. It's normal. It does happen. It looks like Yuri Lowenthal and Aaron Fitzgerald they are both coming out saying that, well, I guess Persona 4 Remake is in the works. We aren't going to be coming back for this. So I thought this was a rumor at first. I'm like, don't take it with a grain of salt. But now there's an update by Erin, who played one of the characters. She's saying, I'm not coming back either. So, but I think Dash, our good friend Dash, he said it on the head. This is either due to, like, we can change the voices, we can do it, or is this SAG-AFTRA screwing up big time for some of these voice actors and actresses? Because you don't announce later down the line, we're doing Persona 4, but then you have Yuri coming out saying, I'm not coming back for Persona 4 Remake. Sorry. Because I really do think that strike is both good, and it also has a lot of negative effects on people getting casted correctly or what's going to happen in the future.
Yeah, let me see if I can find Dash's.
I think I sent it to you about
Yeah,
that. So,
yeah.
'cause he
Because
also has a quote tweet.
I was reading it and I was just like, I'm like, Dash is right.
Am I a tweet with my medical case being covered like this?
No, it's Anya, it's Law, it's Spy X Family. I love that.
Yeah. So okay,
He
here's
has a quote tweet about like a good theory because I think he's on to something.
yeah.
I think he really is.
So our buddy Dash, also hello Dash Attack. This is your daily shout out from the channels.
Dash.
One of the top VAs in the industry, and they don't want him back. I thought they only recast Persona 3 to avoid drama with the pro and anti.
Well, even with that, I think they were always going to replace the Persona 3 cast regardless, because that was my opinion. Even with the remake, I'm like, they're going to replace the cast. I had that it was going to happen regardless.
But Dash has a.
But in his quote tweet that
the very last part of it, I am now wondering too. Wonder if this has anything to do with the SAG overreach and they're going for non-union actors. That is something to think about, because remember, SAG-AFTRA. I mean, I'm all. Let me put it to you like this. I'm all for union and everything. I'm all for it if it's done correctly and has the best interest for the people at heart who want to help and everything. I'm all for that. I'm all for people like our these beloved voice actors that you and I and many others have grown up with. I do want them to get some type of like protection assurances and this, that, and the other. But what you and I have many of us been seeing, that's kind of not the case
it's like
here.
a double-edged sword, because some are really making things clear, like this is what the strike is really about. But then you have the stuff with some other VAs that are like, are you okay? Like, definitely with the whole AI stuff that's going around. Screw AI, by the way. Yes, I do see a reason to protect yourself, but then the SAG kind of is both with them and against them. Look at Fortnite with the Darth Vader AI, which is just horrible.
Me and a few of our friends, including Captain Bob, we've been trolling the AI Darth Vader. We've been trolling him. Actually, I asked Vader, I'm like, what do you think of the Disney sequels? And he says nothing.
Okay.
He says something vague, but it's like he avoids the topic. It was so much fun. It was so much fun messing with it. It was so much fun. But I do understand your concerns, Joker. I do understand.
Because there was supposed to be protection against AI, but now it's like
there's a lot of circulation that James Earl Jones gave permission before he passed and everything. So I do not know which is true and which is false, because you and I both know we've been doing Knightcast for so many episodes, and you and I still don't know if this is true or if it's just a figment of our imagination. If we're reading this right.
I know that I think one of the headlines for this was that James's family gave some approval. But I'm like, is that true, or we just? I think that
Trying to
situation, puts
or are
money.
we trying to justify the AI use? I wondered that
But in
too.
my opinion, like I think after like James passed away, and sometime later they were talking about AI. I see this guy do a really good impression of his voice actually. And I'm like, see, Disney, you can hire this guy or find some good talent. Heck, the new Indiana Jones game, Harrison Ford did praise Troy Baker, saying that you should hire good talent
Hmm.
like Troy and a few others. I'm like, yeah, Troy was a good choice for Indy, and he's only
There was this actor who almost got casted as Solo in the Solo movie. I forgot this guy's name, but he did like one video of him like talking in the Harris. He did a very good Harrison Ford impression. Almost sounded like him. Everything. I'm like, why is this guy not here?
uh, yeah,
Should
the
I
Soul
behave
movie
and
was
not
one
make my
thing,
cheap
but
shots?
I'm
Doing
sorry.
doing an impersonation of Harrison Ford. So arrogant jerk who thinks he's better than everyone about environmental shit and treats his co-stars like crap. I mean, that is him. He's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but he is a jackass piece of shit. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Not sorry.
You're
I mean,
good.
I'm not
Um,
sorry.
but back to the topic at hand. But Dash is right though. Dash is right because what was the reason for this unexpected drop of Yuri, who is really good. He's a good VA. He's
and it's
good.
not like
I like
Yuri
his
said this
character.
without any ill intent. If he did talk to Atlas, some employees, like, are we even some higher ups, like, is there really like a Persona 4 remake coming? And if they said yes, it is, but you're not coming back, it's like, well,
He
there's
did
that.
say
Like,
he
look what happened to the.
begged.
I mean, the only confirmation that at least I know about two of them, at least they're both well known. Take a look at Final Fantasy VII remake when we heard all the new voices, and a lot of the original cast went like, "That's not my voice. Looks like I got replaced." One that went, but it's like, oh, well then, I guess they didn't know about this either then. And then it was, what was the other one? Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. I think because I'm like, there's like two of them that I do know about because that was the big one. Oh, oh my God, I know it was huge because, oh yeah, that's right. It was David Hayter being replaced by Kiefer Sutherland for Metal Gear Solid 5. And this is not the first time Hayter was almost replaced. MGS3, he said, I had to re-audition for the role for Snake. So it's not like this was uncommon for him. It's just that, well, if the Japanese actor got to come back, why was I replaced? He does get contact with Konami. He talks to one employee for a while at dinner, and then it's like, well, you've been replaced. So to be found out like that, it's like, huh?
I can
And,
imagine. I can imagine his face at dinner
but
when that
also
was
him being
said.
disappointed again because like it's this probably Kojima again, but it's like you're replacing David Hayter with Keith Sutherland. No offense to Mr. Sutherland, but there is one Snake, and that is David Hayter. He is going to be the Snake. Granted, the plot twist of MGS5 isn't quite David Hayter's Snake. It's the medic that saved him, or at least the guy who's on the plane, a helicopter, that has the whole face up. He's got plastic surgery on his face, so to look like David Hayter's Snake. So that's why. So it's like, oh, so that's why. And that's the guy you fight in MGS1. I'm like, oh, okay. But, it's not that uncommon. And then also the Bayonetta 3 controversy, which, oh my goodness. It went from everybody hating her to backing up the original actress to, again, you can hate Jason all you want, but when he talked to Platinum, it's like, sorry, here's the real narrative. She wanted more money at the end. And then it's like, well, And then Jennifer Hale comes out like with her own statement, no, this did not happen. And if you all know me, I would never allow this to happen. So it's like, give us back our pre-orders. I'm like, this is why you wait until it's all in the clear before you make a rash decision like this. Because
kind of like this one from what you, because I saw this, you sent this to
is
me.
one I want to say, at least in my opinion. There's no offense to this creator, but no offense to this voice actor. I'm like, let's just wait and see what the bottom one Kingdom Hearts 4 is. I know a lot of people are waiting. But does that mean they're dubbing right now, or is there something for let's say, Square Enix that's in the work? This is just used for a placement holder. Could be. Who knows? I'm not going to blame this individual. If they got permission, wonderful. Again, this is no offense to the person. No offense. There's no ill intent here. I mean, if Kingdom Hearts 4 is starting to dub, cool, awesome. We do know Part 3 for Final Fantasy VII is recording because Cody, the new voice for Cloud, said, yeah, we're recording. But, I'd still prefer the original Cloud's VA because he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But this is like, you take it with a grain of salt. It could be very little. It could be something big later down the line. Who knows? So that's why you always have to be careful. And
exactly.
This is gentlemen working on all these projects. Good for you. Awesome. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, it just goes to show, and you are correct. People should wait before everything's in the clear. Like, yes, you can talk about this and everything, but try to be honest.
And I'm hoping he is being honest because I don't want him to get any trouble. Or if he's like, did I accidentally? I mean, if he's got permission, who am I to judge? He's in the industry. I'm not.
Exactly, and it just happens, and it's like because all these people, they are so brazen to break NDA and everything. They're getting a lot more brazen.
Not all of
now.
them, some of them.
Some of them are very brazen, and we're seeing more of that than the actual people who actually respect the NDA. It's like, look, I can only say so much, but you're gonna love this game. You're gonna love it. It's gonna be so much fun. But that's all I can really, really, really say, and that's completely fine. That's completely fine. If I'm excited, if the person who is working with it is excited and it sounds good, then yes, I will share the sentiment. But I don't want to see a post when somebody just spills the beans on everything and ruins the surprise to what would be a really good game or a movie, or really bad, or vice versa. You gotta pick and it's a pick and choose type of thing with these people, and unfortunately, that's getting more and more harder, more and more difficult to choose by the day, given everything that's coming out. And now, and now with everything going on, it's like, well, what do you do?
I mean, it's just tricky. We have seen people lose jobs for breaking the NDA very, very quickly, or to just a little slip up cause like, not yet. Because there was like so many different rumors back in the day with Netflix at least having the license to Zelda at one point, but then a random employee, again, this comes from somebody in the industry that said, yeah, they did have the license at one point. Someone in the industry accidentally slipped up that, oh, we have the license, and Nintendo said, you screwed up, pulling. But who knows if that's true or not? Because there's been rumors for Netflix wanting to get the Zelda license for years now.
Yeah, exactly. Joker. We just got.
Yep.
Yeah, we just got.
Oh.
So. I gotta say, for first looks, They got it
They're
right.
picking young actors right now.
Yes.
Not bad. All right.
We got some celerity going. We got the characters getting down and everything. They're actually sticking with it for this, so that's a good thing. Because I was dreading, like you, Joker. I was dreading. I'm like, what? They can't fuck this up anymore. Worse, and thankfully here, at least it's like okay, they're not gonna fuck up the Golden Trio. But keep in mind, this is first glance. Because this has just been
Obviously, they're
announced.
not in any costumes. It'll take a while to get them in costumes and everything, but it's like you're choosing rookie actors and actresses. That's fine. Surprised they found a ginger.
But Joker, go
It's
ahead.
fine. So, although it's gonna be weird in the show when you do see Snape, and you have to remember. So Harry's dad bullied Snape. Wow.
Oh, that scene. Oh no.
But they have 7 books to get to that part. 6 books. They have.
Oh my god, this is gonna be.
So let's try to explain that to people.
Yeah, let's try to explain. Good luck explaining that.
And I think I talked to Dash that the reason why you do like Snape is that yes, he's evil, but here's the thing: when you figure out the truth, which is a good twist, by the way.
Oh, that beloved twist. I loved it.
He did care about his mom, actually. That he was in love with her, despite being bullied by his dad. Yes, you could say he won in the end because he got the wife. Snape did not. But when you see the full truth, well, even before that, Harry's like, that's my father? Like, yes, you saw the truth.
Yeah.
But when he dies, and he's kind of signaling to Harry that, like, God, I fucking miss the actor so much. He's like signaling to him, like, take.
The tears.
And he does. Now you see the full truth. He was a good man who was flawed. He deeply was saddened that Lily died that night. And that first look and glance, like, it's him. But now that glance is like, he's seeing her again. He even says that he has her eyes. Like he did say that in the film, right? He's like he's got her eyes, right?
Yeah, he's like you have your mother's eyes, and that's what Harry's been told throughout. It's like by I believe
I think it was a couple of professors.
Sirius said it too, I believe. But he sees more of James and Harry than Lily. He does have Lily's eyes, and it's so tragic. He says, "Nice one, James," and then that heartbreaking scene. Oh my goodness, Harry couldn't catch a break in that film. He could not catch a break in the later films. Like Jesus Christ. But watching that beloved twist, I always scream at people like, "This is long-term storytelling." Because remember, up until that point, we were on the one side where we're like, oh, how dare you Snape, how dare you kill Dumbledore and everything, and this, that, and the other. But that twist, that masterclass twist, it changed the opinion of everybody at the turn of a signal, which is cool to see. I'm like,
Dumbledore, like you said, like you do not put him through this. It's like he truly was looking out for Harry in his own ways. It's like he went from guy who was just evil to, he is a good man but flawed. He even named his own son after like Elvis Snape.
Albus Severus Potter.
Yep, I thought that was nice naming him after the two men, and of course his,
Exactly.
It was nice.
And
it was a nice good call.
It was because it goes to show that Harry, despite everything, now that he saw the full truth, his opinion, you saw it too. His opinion drastically changed. That when he pulls his head up from that cauldron looking thing. I cannot remember the name of it. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. It's been forever since I've seen the movie.
It's been so many years.
But when he pulls his head up from it, you see the legitimate, like, his reaction, that beautiful words, non-spoken reaction. It's like, that is body language to 11. His entire opinion on Snape changed just by that one look, that one masterclass look. And that's why body language is important when you're acting. Body language is important. And you, of course, you instilled this into me as well. But Snape, though, what worries me is what these kids are going to go through.
I think that's my concern, because I already see I'm not giving this individual the time of name. This person's already saying, those poor kids working, like, you're not acting. You are an adult. You are allegedly supposed to be one of the better ones, and yet you're saying those poor kids working with J.K. Rowling for 7 years. It could last 1 year. It could be canceled right away. It could be 3 years and could be canceled. The kids will do fine. I'm just worried about the writing, directing at this point. They have the right, whatever they have here for now. Do I want a live action series? No, but it's like they're going all in now, so they can't turn back the clock. And Rowling, please, for the love of God, just get on this, please. Just
get off your ass and be like,
take control, please.
Yes, do what Oda did with One Piece and be the main person. Like, hey, I signed off on this. I did not sign off on that. Get this out.
Like again, Snape's actor. Like again, there's going to be a lot of heat already. But if he was good for the role, I wouldn't mind him one bit. If he's good for the role, I will take it all back. I literally will.
Exactly, and like we mentioned here many times, our problem is not the actor or actress. Our problem is not that. It's just
unless
a matter.
They act like an asshole.
Well,
exactly.
aside from that, but we're willing to give these people the benefit of a doubt and see where this goes at first glance. Now, the opinion, like Joker said, the opinion could change. If he turns out to be a damn good actor for Snape, then we'll be like, okay, he's allowed in. He's allowed in through this door.
What I find so hilarious with this current whole war is, first of all, well, I'm not a Potter fan. You know this about me. Everybody knows this about me. But the fact that so many people are going after Rowling, they forget she's still a leftist. Just because she doesn't support one thing doesn't mean she's not a leftist. And that also goes to the people in our community that are kissing her ass for supporting that. She still said a lot of crazy leftist shit about them before. And still actually supports those opinions. It's like the fangirling and the hating because of one opinion on one issue, I find hilarious as all hell.
Yep, and it just goes to show that you do one thing and then you're part of the group and then you go against it. What's up, Freedom Fighter? Hey, Bacon, what's up? But time will tell, Joker and Eagle. Time will tell of how I wish these kids, though, the best of luck. They have some big shoes to fill, but I'm willing to look at this with new faces and everything. Like, okay, let's see how you do on this. And no pressure. Let's just see how you do along the lines. But
also, I gave a pseudo response to Joker's comment in the group chat too.
So apparently, Oh boy. This is what happens when this is what happens. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. If you're going to go into what he shared, go ahead. I'm going to have a few things to say. And Joker's like, oh, she's going to go at it.
I will too. I will too.
Okay.
You got to let me start it because this has created an online war between natives.
Mm-hmm.
Take the floor, guys.
So here's some context on this situation. A, they switched a lot of things in the story. They made Nani leave Lilo with David's family and take off to go do college without her. That's a big issue. But also they erased the corruption with the police and the Galactic Armada and the Gantu stuff. They also erased a lot of the issues for CPS and not listening to natives that was in the original. Now, it's bad if in the original, Disney took out the part that the Hawaiian writers were helping them do to begin with, because Saunders and them all went to Hawaii and wrote this with them originally. And there were parts written in that actually dealt with the abuses in the white tourism and stuff there that Disney made them take out in the original, by the way.
Oh yeah, the beach
and
scene.
that was bad enough because that wasn't done in a really racist way to make either side look bad. That just showed some of the complexities of living in a tourist area where people don't understand the culture. But that was forgivable because the rest of the movie was so on point and it dealt with the complexities of how CPS treats natives and stuff without outright making one side villains or one side heroes, you know? They took all that out. They made CPS the heroes, basically. And that's kind of... Give me a... 1 sec. 1 sec here.
$400 million.
All right, back to where I was. Sorry, my husband's got timing. So that's already a complex issue. But also the whole thing of them trying to stretch and say, well, this is what the Ohana situation is. Well, it's a communal thing. Well, that is true. That when they talk about family and family supporting each other in Native communities, it's very, very based on community and very based on the whole family, including extended, what people would in the old days call shirt tail relatives, or those who rode the coattails of people to come into the family, in-laws. All that stuff was a big part of the community, but that doesn't mean you have to go girl boss and leave your sister in her hardest point in her life when she's feeling like nobody's left to love her. I'm sorry. There's no way that, but also they sanitized the stuff that actually dealt with the Native American struggles that was in the movie in a respectful way that shared that with people without beating them over the head with it in the original. But they still put some of the community stuff in, and the main writer on the remake is Hawaiian. And because of that, along with the fact that the woman who played Nani is only part Hawaiian by genetics and part Filipino and part Caucasian, the racist attack on her from both white liberals and the race purists in the Native community has been really visceral and bigoted. And so this has created an online war between natives that are fighting over this. And it is visceral arguments, defending and attacking the movie. Now, I don't think anyone in the Native community that's on either side of this argument is automatically wrong, because there's a lot of complexities to the struggle and why they're either hating it or connecting to it that have to do with the Native community. What I've been noticing and what I've dealt with a lot the last few days since all this started is a whole bunch of these white liberal Disney stans coming onto these threads and talking over the natives and trying to tell us why we should like or hate it. And I literally had one say to me that you should be grateful that me as a white man is saying this.
Oh, shit.
Fuck off.
Yep, I knew that was happening.
So right now, you have two really big differing viewpoints. The parts going into, as a Native community, we've been trying to look at more self-identity beyond just community identity, helping ourselves get out of these struggles and not feeling guilty for getting out and stuff like that. And I can see why the people in that like parts of the news story. I can also really see there's struggles with removing the Native issues and removing a lot of the stuff that was well written in the first that dealt with it, and not having as good of an Ohana story. So both sides of different Native struggles are very torn on this. We can have the discussion and the fight, but when we have a bunch of white liberals trying to speak for us and telling us why we should like or hate it, they can go fuck off. They can shove it up their ass. They can have an entire red hot poker up there, and I hope it's being twisted around. This also goes for the black supremacists and the Native supremacists who are attacking actors or people who are speaking on this who are mixed race or pale or minorities. They can go shove it up where the sun don't fucking shine. So I hate the changes they made, but I understand why for some Natives they like some of them. Does that make sense?
Yes, very, very much. I can definitely see that. And, to me, I'm still mad that like 400 million in just a short while. Which, to be fair, it was the holidays. This is still a family movie at the end of the day, and the marketing did pretty much give you that. Okay, this looks like to be the more faithful one, at least.
Good.
It's family.
Good.
Families are going to take
This
their
is
kids
where
to
I was saying we've all fallen for. I actually had hope for this, especially when Disney didn't cave to the people trying to remove the Hawaiian actors for not being dark enough.
Yeah, because
I actually had hope for this. We talked about this on one of the Knightcast a couple months ago.
And I'm still gonna say this. Lilo looks like to be one of the better ones.
Oh,
but they changed the story still, and
Stitch
Bubbles. What
great.
they did to Bubbles. Come on.
Well, what I've seen with Bubbles is that he's kind of just not as useful as he was needed. It wasn't that they made his character bad. They just, by sticking in another person working with him, they made him less valued to the story overall.
Mm-hmm.
And I get why they did that is because they were trying to write in a character for the original actress who voiced Nani. And that has its own issues.
Also, I haven't. You know what I also noticed? Because I was at work earlier today, and I was delivering the food to a moviegoer and everything, and they were watching the movie. You know what I noticed? I have not seen one scene of Myrtle at all. Not one.
She's not even in this. Wow.
Unless, of course, I overlook. Unless, of course, I could be wrong because it just
still be in it.
Yes, I was probably just didn't appear at the right time, but I haven't heard anybody talk about it.
In it. However, I have also, from the things I've verified with scenes that have been shared, they sanitized Lilo's fight with Myrtle and took out her biting her.
What? I cheered for that scene. I cheered that because when Lilo bit Myrtle, it's like, yeah, get her, Lilo, get her, get her.
What people need to realize why I love the animation so much is that they truly made Lilo feel like an actual
character
kid, like an actual child who, unfortunately, at a young age, had to experience losing a mom and dad, only having a big sister who turned into her mom, and really having no friends, no comfort. Her fighting Myrtle is horrible. It's wrong. It gets her in trouble. But she also quickly apologizes to her, saying, "Look, I'm sorry. Use my doll."
It was a consistent thing. In fact, in one of the follow-up movies, Myrtle makes a crack at Lilo about how you'll never be as good as your mother, and Stitch lets her go to go beat her up, and then starts taking pictures of it.
They actually show that scene on Twitter, actually saying, "Remember what they stole from you." And I'm like, oh, you don't cross that line right there. It's gloves off now. If that was me,
Because she
I
said
would've
in
been like,
snarky comment about how you're not good
Nah.
enough to dance in this luau to her to begin with, and she starts to ball up the fighter, and Stitch is like,
but then
no,
Stitch
don't
pulls
do
out
that.
the camera and goes,
Don't fight. And about time he starts doing that, she goes, you'll never be like your mother. Ever.
and then,
And Stitch just lets her go, backs up and grabs the camera, like, okay, that's it.
and then Stitch does the selfie at the end. I'm like,
it's so much fun watching that scene. But in all
whoever wrote the
seriousness,
original animation movies for that first film, they
Here's a
truly
little side note,
understand.
by the way.
I know
For the voice
they
actors
understood the
who play
child.
Myrtle.
Yep.
Yeah, you've seen the Santa Claus stuff that Tim Allen did, right?
Yes.
The one who plays Lucy, Calvin's little sister, is the same one who voiced Myrtle.
I figured that was her because the voice was a little
yeah.
bit the same. I'm like,
She went from playing a really psycho girl to being a real sweetheart, didn't she?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But in all seriousness, Stitch looks awesome. And I will give credit where credit is due. They did try to be as faithful as they could to a degree. But when I heard that Gantu wasn't in it and a few other things, that's when I started to really panic.
What I don't understand is the stuff that sanitizes the native struggles and the neurodivergent struggles and stuff that was so adamantly put into the first story was taken out by Hawaiian writer. They whitewashed native struggles from a Hawaiian writer.
I know how you feel about Pocahontas, the movie, the animated movie.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta admit, at least they tried. They
didn't.
well to a minimum degree. Like you could almost see it, but then it goes to the wayside, and it's like, oh, the one. But yeah,
I think that's how Disney handles most stories, but especially when it comes to native stories, is they take in enough to look like they're trying to respect natives, and then they just rewrite a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of stuff and change the cultures and disrespect it and act like we're crazy if we're not kissing their ass and fawning over them rewriting our history.
Yep. And you're right about the animated movie of Lilo and Stitch. It is there. Like the struggles are there. It's
in a
just,
respectful way that's not beating you over the head.
Yep, it's like subtle. It's in plain sight. It's in plain view. You can see it. But here, though, I don't know what happened in the writing room. I feel like they probably drank a little bit of the wrong Kool-Aid and somehow forgot they were writing about Lilo and Stitch and not Moana. Somewhere in that translation, I could safely guess.
And the thing is, Lilo and Stitch and Moana were the best representations of Native American and Native Islander stories they ever did.
Oh, I loved Moana. Moana was great. I was skeptical at first, but Eagle, when I sat down and watched it, my opinion changed. I'm like, you know what? This is really good. Because I'm a sucker for like the culture and everything, and it gave me a broader perspective of the wonderful Hawaiian tribes out there and everything and all of that, and I come to respect it. I've come to respect everything.
Now, what I remember when Moana came out was, first of all, a whole bunch of people making cracks about how this is just an ethnicized, which is apparently to a lot of, for some reason, liberals, whether they're minorities or white, they seem to think ethnic means minority and not just your culture, no matter where you're from, which is weird as shit and racist anyways. But they literally make cracks about Moana just being them making ethnic versions of X, Y, and Z. And it's like, no, it's not. But also there was this whole group of a whole bunch of some of the race spirits from Hawaii and a whole bunch of white liberals bitching about The Rock playing Maui because he wasn't Hawaiian enough when he actually is Hawaiian.
Yeah, for Christ's sake, his grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, and and everything, and there's a doc, and I think it was a one of the hype packages for his, I think it was for one of his WrestleMania matches. It shows him going. The Rock does go through the tribal
He's mixed,
and
but he is significantly Hawaiian, and he's specifically from that tribe. Maui is his god. And people still said that he was wrong to play that part. It's like, go fuck yourselves.
No,
Stop this racist shit where we have to be like pure blood in your standards or we don't count. Go fuck off. You know? We don't lose our cultures and our races. We don't have to be cultureless because we're mixed, so we don't qualify for either side. No, if we're mixed, we get to claim all our cultures and you can fuck off.
Exactly. Joker, your whole opinion. Go ahead, buddy. I'm letting the leashes fly. I'm letting the leashes fly. Go ahead.
That original animation film, I would still like to say I'm still glad they shot in Hawaii. Glad they found a lot of talented actors that are
from the island.
From the islands that are great. Again, I can't be mad at Lilo's actors because I think for what I've seen
she
from
looks
clips,
so adorable and sweet,
like,
and everybody said she's the sweetest person on set they ever talked to.
Correctly. I mean, look at her and Stitch. Like, this is the duo that I wanted. I wish maybe the outcome was a little bit better.
Stuck more true to
Nani's actress, I feel sorry for you. I think you did the best you can with this role, but you do deserve a better screenplay. David's actor, what I've been told, he was pretty funny, pretty good. I just wish this film was better because, like we said, weeks ago, we said, this looks good. We have hopes. Like I said, I could not be mad when I get to see that guy, Stitch, finally be Stitch again after all these years with these spin-offs. I'm like, this is my film. Like, I should be excited for this, but hearing all the different changes, everything, from a Hawaiian writer, nonetheless, I gotta ask myself, what's going on here? Like, what? It's like Eagle said. I agree with her on a lot of points. That she makes a lot of validated points. But I knew it was gonna make money. It's a family movie. They showed the right parts as they always did. I just wish Gantu was still in it.
Because he was like,
we need the big goofus.
Please.
Exactly.
By the way, I did write a small response on, because I've been arguing with people on Threads because I can't do it on X anymore because of the stalkers. So I got to argue with people somewhere. So I've been doing it on Threads. Anyway, sorry, that's terrible to say it that way, but wow. But yeah. Anyway, I wrote a short response, which I'm going to read to you guys here. This was my simple statement after being involved in all these arguments over and over and dealing with the white-splaining Native issues from people. So it was simply said, dear Americans, Westerners, and people from cultures that are not Native American, Native Islander, it is nice to see people discussing our cultures and wanting to understand how we are. It is nice to see people speaking out on corruption and CPS towards Natives. But can you please, on both sides of the debate, stop using examples of a few Natives sharing their opinions and using it as if it represents all of us Natives. We have many tribes, many cultures, and we're not a monolith. More so, even when from the same tribe, we have a very varied background and experience. Natives, Islanders are not culturally wrong to like or hate the new storyline. We have different experiences. What this battle and war on it, this should show people, if it's right or wrong, is that we need to open up society to see the struggles of Natives respectfully without race baiting and help us grow society for everyone.
Exactly that. That's just the way it should be. Because remember, Eagle Rider Joker, how many times have we praised in leading up to this release?
I think we did praise it a lot. Like, even me, I kept saying...
We sat there and glorified how cute it was and how much we wanted this to be well made.
I'm like, please.
I love Stitch so much.
It's a simple story that's so
weighted Stitch and Angel sitting on that bed with me that I brought with me from my house to cuddle at Mom's house. I'm actually... Wait, 1 second here. This is actually not...
I have said that this is my favorite movie. Without a villain actor, there's no villains. For a company that's known for their animated villains over the top, crazy, or very much on the scale of neutral villain or neutral chaos or high chaos villain.
Villains to
A lot of they got a lot of villains.
good.
To have a story that really has no main villain, but just simply people like Ganchu just doing his job, or the council eventually trying to stop the experiment.
Mhm.
Look at that little guy. He's doing it. He's his own B monster movie villain.
Exactly.
That's what I wanted to see. And I kept thinking, if they can still do the relationship between the sisters, heck, you even get the whole sister speech within their argument when they're done arguing with each other after the whole
that scene was hilarious in the animation. It was so hilarious.
And they both
Crap, I
do
left Stitch in
this.
the other room. But I've still got Angel right here.
Hearing them like finally, talk to each other. She said, "I like you as a sister than a mom. I like you better as a sister than this. But
I'll
would
make
you
sure
replace
only
me with a
yell at
rabbit
you.
than be a
Only
sister?"
to yell at you on special occasions.
Beautiful.
Tuesdays
It's
and bank
wonderful.
holidays would be nice. Lila was so neurodivergent. It wasn't even funny. It was so. My mom connected so much to that movie with memories of both herself as a child and raising a neurodivergent native kid.
When I
She
saw it as a kid,
so
I
much
said,
of herself and me in Lilo that it was insane.
when I saw that movie in the theaters, I'm with my mom, my sister. When I was young, I said, "That sounds like you and Katie."
and also it does resonate because I too watched the animated the animated film. I'm jumbling my words tonight. I apologize.
You're fine.
And living in a single parent home at that time, it made me appreciate my mother, our mother, a lot more. It made me appreciate
it the other night.
Yeah, because I understood now that I'm older and I have more awareness and everything. I look back fondly on the memories of my dearly departed mother. And I watched Lilo and Stitch, and I just read, and I'm like, you know what? This is what our mom went through raising not one kid, but two rambunctious preteen into adolescence on her own. So, in a sense, I understand, but at the same time, me and my sister both appreciated her for everything, and it goes to show we could have the worst. We could me, my sister, and our mom. We have the worst arguments. Like we had the worst fights, but at the end of it all, at the end of the argument, after we're done screaming at each other's heads, we bonded even more.
One thing about Lilo and Stitch, where it succeeded, where so many of these representation movies failed, it showed heroess sister who was doing anything for her family, and it wasn't about her. She was a Disney character who didn't have that like stick figure. She had little belly punch. She was human through and through. You had a kid who clearly had some mental issues, but was also very deep, very heartfelt, lovely child, very human and very complex, who actually was a large part of how a lot of the autistic community got people to start seeing them and humanizing them. And studies on how autistic people connected to Lilo is part of what helped a lot of women start getting diagnosed. It literally was a part of our being recognized. And it dealt with a lot of these issues that natives deal with in a way where people from all walks of life could understand the family connection, understand the cultural connection, understand the family struggles, and connect to it emotionally and feel it in their own lives. It humanized these struggles in a way that none of these representation movies have done. And it was remarkable for that. And I still think was one of the best things that Disney's ever done in their life was that first movie. Also, if you ever see one of the episodes of the show where Lilo's going on about her saga of her goldfish, it starts with her talking about you're not breathing anymore, you're dead, like my goldfish I had to flush.
Oh, I remember.
Wait, there's more in this.
No, that animated series was the animated series was wild.
Like,
so it goes into another shot later where she makes a crack about losing her goldfish and stuff. But at the end, she goes, "You were just faking, like my goldfish I flushed."
God, it's been
where
so
she
long.
Actually admitted she flushed the goldfish while it was still alive.
Yep.
And it's like, oh my god.
I mean, there was like different lessons every day. All the experiments were weird, unique. Some were more charming than others more crazy. But what I think I always liked about Lilo, that at least with Stitch and was it 625 at least? Or was it
Ruben?
No,
yeah.
Sparky. It was Sparky. It was Sparky.
Oh.
She's like, well, we can't come like your brother because she shows the evil scale and everything. I'm like, oh, but he's close. He was close enough. Sparky was close.
I don't remember which one Sparky was. I know 625
That was the yellow
Ruben,
one with electricity powers. I think that was his name, Sparky,
yeah,
right?
they called him Ruben when they finally gave him a name.
Oh, God, it's been
because
so
of the
long.
Sandwich.
No, Ruben was the one with Gantu. The other one with the electricity powers.
That was a different one. That's not the one that had all the Stitch powers. 625 was Ruben. 624 was Angel.
624 was Angel.
And 627 was what's his name? Leroy or something, which was created.
627 was Leroy, the red one.
One up Stitch because Stitch was getting full of himself.
Yeah. Oh, I remember the
what was 2 something. I know though that the electricity one was a lower number in the 200.
I remember you find out that Myrtle's little poodle she was dragging along was one of the experiments too.
That was a good twist. That amused me. Speaking of the sandwich experiment, the one that makes the sandwiches, I remember playing that sandwich game. Yeah, I remember that one, and me and my sister, my mom, we went at it for hours on that game. By the time we finally lost, it was midnight. It was midnight on a school night, and we had so much fun. That game was fun. And we were like waiting for it. We kept eyeing the toaster. We were like, "Come on, final bread!" And we had this like ridiculously stacked sandwich. It was ridiculous how high we stacked it.
You know what actually killed the animated show was that they kept trying to use it to do crossovers with all these other Disney shows to boost their numbers.
Ooh.
And the crossovers sucked. They did. And that was like the last 8 episodes had 7 crossovers with crap like
it was American Dragon,
Kim Possible and shit like that. They were
Proud
horrible
Family.
Crossovers.
Recess was one of them.
And I hated the crossover episodes.
I mean, they were fun at the time, but even me looking back at them,
I didn't even like them then. I thought they were annoying as hell, and I didn't like those other shows.
But looking back at them, they really should have done something different.
What about the Jimmy Timmy Power Hour? What about that one?
I think those were fine in their own time if you were fans of either one, but if you weren't, you were not going to be the biggest fan of them.
That's a solid point. Otherwise, they'd be like this.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
Big screen. I'm going to sing my siren song.
Oh yeah, I forgot you the siren.
Angel was a siren. She was built to hypnotize men and make them water.
But the sad thing is though, if people were just gonna go see this movie for Stitch only, then by all means, it was worth it because Stitch, they did a wonderful job with
Oh
Stitch.
God, the animation on Stitch is adorable.
Lilo, I loved the actress who
The
played
actress
her.
is wonderful. I wish they'd kept her as dark and twisted as she was originally.
Yes, because it was there. Like the elements were right there. It's like you could have pushed it about 10 feet further, about 10 feet, and
My
then
friends need to be punished.
and the actress who
Doing
played
the voodoo of but then trying to drown him in the pickle juice, shaking it, and he looks at her. My friends need to be punished. Come on, Lilo was dark.
Yes. Joker, I will agree with you about Nani, the actress and everything. I will agree with you on that. I wish I wanted to. Actually, truth be told, my boss, he gave his opinion on it, and he would agree with us. He did not like how it ended. He didn't like it, and he would, and he had
justified thing, but they got the gun at the end. That does not matter. She left Leela. If I was like an editor, I would say, no, please don't, just don't, please.
no go back to the drawing. I don't care. Go back to the writing room. Go back and
I would have just
put that ending
said,
back in.
I will stay with you. Please.
And he said that Nani was way too brutal, and it's like, ugh. Which is why better writing material, honestly, better screenplay. But they did the best they could, and David, my hats off to the dude for playing the character. He gave it. You could tell he gave it his best. Like they were trying. They were really, really putting an effort into it. Although Peakley, that was so cool to see. I was happy to see him. Jumba, they got him. As far as the look goes, they got him right. Thank God. But the voice, though, it's Gal Gadot, Joker. It's Gal Gadot.
Wait, what?
With Jumba, the voice, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Because I saw a scene of his. I'm like, oh, there's Jumba. Yes. The minute he opens his mouth, it off-put me for some reason. I don't know why. I have no idea why. And I went back and watched the anime movie. The animated one was a million times better because it had the witty humor and everything. This one, it was like,
I think Gal Gadot's a good comparison for that because I know so many people love her, but her acting is. I don't like the racist things people have said about her, but her acting is so cringy. They're all the same, and the emotion's just not right.
It's probably that. It's just it was lacking what made Jumba hilarious and beloved in that movie.
It's something I've tried to explain with Gal Gadot before because I overall like her in most things as a person, but her acting, and it's not even that she's not saying the lines or trying to add emotion or stuff. It's that there's just a little bit of something in the face and the voice when she tries to do emotion in scenes that all feel the same and they all don't quite feel right.
Actually,
it feels lackluster.
Actually, Joker had the best assessment for when he saw her scenes. Go ahead, Joker.
What did I say? I said like, when she's like not speaking, and she's just in the costume alone. You're thinking, this is the evil queen right here. Like you capture the presence, the elegance. She is a model after all, a former model, and she was in the army. Like if you told me that this was the evil queen, I would have said, damn, like she's got the part nailed down. But the moment she starts speaking, the moment you hear those lines, like, what did you say? It takes the immersion out of it. It's like, oh, yeah, No. Like, she can act in certain parts, but here for the Evil Queen, it should have been like, this could have been the perfect thing. But
there's one person who did a video that I find him an annoying, whiny liberal most of the time, but his video on Gal Gadot I actually think was solid. He did not attack her being Jewish or her politics or any of that shit. He did a rant about how she emotes in acting and why is she popular. And I sat there watching going, actually, I agree with this. And the thing is, I started watching a lot of his videos because I would criticize him because sometimes I'm just being a shit and a troll. But even when I'm criticizing him, I can acknowledge when he's got good points, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that was Phil Cooper, who's definitely a bit nuts, but he was right on his video about Gal Gadot and her acting. And he actually shows scenes side by side of these different supposed emotional moments from a whole bunch of her different roles. And I swear, every time she's trying to be emotional and yell or scream out or something, it's the exact same thing in every movie. And none of them feel real. I don't get it.
Oh, I agree.
It doesn't feel like the characters. It feels like somebody trying to be the characters. It's like she's trying to act being an actor instead of trying to act the character.
Precisely that. And it's like, just go out there and act. You don't have to try anything. Because I agree with Joker. Presence alone, she nails it as the Evil Queen. On the presence and everything, she nails it. But when it's when she opens her mouth and everything and speaks,
It's
somewhere it gets lost somewhere in the translation, and it breaks immersion so badly, and it's like it takes you completely out of it.
And don't get me wrong, I'd still rather deal with her as the Evil Queen than to that bitch trying to play Snow and being a racist piece of shit and talking about Gal being Jewish and shit like that. And seriously, fuck that bitch. Red hot rusty fucking poker. In Minecraft, why did I have to tick at the end of that?
It just goes to show that they really do not care. And like we mentioned earlier, we have no hope for Avengers given everything, because with all this stuff that's coming out, me and Joker are looking at this, and it's like,
just member berries. They're going too soon. They want the big team up. It's like, let's do Doom. That'll get everybody in the theaters. No, I don't want Doom. I want them to actually fight each other, like with the Fox people. I want to see ideologies, philosophy clash. Like, just imagine Peter Parker with the X-Men, how much that would change his point of view. And if he was hated in their universe, instead of being a beloved hero, they would call him a freak.
oh, absolutely. Joker, have you heard of Wheel of Time?
No, I've heard that got canceled after 3 seasons, so.
Yeah, I was like, oh no. Oh, what is it? Amazon just doesn't know what they're doing. And apparently, this game, so apparently, this is why we need fans back in the writing room. This is why we need fans back in the writing room. They just can't even see. The whole thing is on the wall, and they only focus on one thing. Dragon Age, right? Dragon Age
3 was successful because they had time to cook while they had. But here's the thing: 33 is a really good game for up until phenomenal. Even made a lot of people cry. But when you're writing for a Dragon Age game that people are having, all right, it's a Dragon Age game. We need some good writers here. We have expectations after how great the first game was, how iffy the second game was. And the third game is kind of a good balance of 1 and 2. We need good writers here. They could have done multiple different things. Instead, we have writers who focus on stuff you didn't want to hear. I do not know how many times they said the elven gods, the damn god's name so many times in one sentence in one go, or how none of the story conflicts even matter until the very end, or you can kill off, or them trying to recreate Mass Effect 2, the very infamous suicide mission. If you didn't have all your teammates at a max bond level, they would die off very quickly. Yikes. So no, it does not. You cannot blame anti-fans for your game failing. Your game failed because it is so backwards, and it's not even a Dragon Age game anymore. It's just a literal fan fiction of a Dragon Age game. There was no arc. There was no death. You get in, you get out, and it's like, that's the game. No stakes, no emotions, no caring about the characters. A good Bioware game or a good RPG should make you care about the characters you're with throughout the journey, the experience. Like, maybe they are going to die off, or maybe I ignored one for too long that had a good backstory that I say, damn, I should have picked you more often than not. But no.
So I did just kind of wanted to stop by and see you guys a little bit because I missed you guys. But that said, where we sleep is right there. My husband's workspace is right there. I'm stuck here. We basically have to have the equivalent of 4 rooms in this spare bedroom at Mom's house right now. And he's got an early morning meeting with work that he has to sign into at his work desk there. So
I think we're going to wrap up right here. A little 2 hours.
Yeah,
so I gotta get off so I can go to bed.
Yeah, we'll wrap up right here.
Okay, so if you guys want to wrap up, then I'll say goodnight to you a little bit after we end.
Yeah. So we had a fantastic time tonight. Thank you to all. Wow, we have like 18 people on YouTube watching right now, and let's see, we have one person on Rumble watching, but hey, better than none. And also 6 people on Twitter watching as well. You guys have been awesome tonight. Vaughn, thank you again for coming on by, being a fantastic guest tonight. We'd love to have you back. That was a lot of fun. Eagle Rider, welcome back. Welcome back. Glad you were able to come on and say hi and everything. Knightcast is going to be a lot of fun. Eagle Rider, I have some topics already planned out to talk about. A lot of fun ones I never thought of until last night. Other than that, Joker, real quick before we go, what's tomorrow looking like for the watch party? What's tomorrow?
Oh, for me, it's just a normal shift. So I get in, get out early, and then I'm just home for a while. So that's a good thing.
Okay, that's the one thing I wanted to ask before
someone else would do the double shift tomorrow, so that's a good thing. So
there you go.
Today, and then thankfully I have a new hire that's coming soon, so that's a good thing. So
yeah,
I'm training, so hopefully.
Yeah, I should be ready for tomorrow because we're gonna be blasting through the final 4 episodes.
Originally, he thought I couldn't make it because I was pulling off a double shift, but thankfully, we got done with work early than last night, which was really late. So, and I felt fine. I'm like, yeah, I feel fine.
That's not out of context, especially considering my anniversary's in a few days.
Anyway, big thank you to everybody for coming on by. Bacon, Freedom Fighter, Christian, Big Angry Phil, Sunflower, Sarah, George, Milk Cow, Eagle Rider, of course, and all of you who have been happy and everything. We'll see you again soon. Stay tuned, guys. Take care. Be blessed. Bye, guys.